All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're exploring the really powerful ideas from Renuka Gavrani's book, The Art of Being Alone. We're going to break down how you can take the experience of being by yourself and totally transform it from something you might dread into something you actually look forward to. So, let's figure out how to reframe that relationship with being alone.
So, this is the big question, right? Is being alone a cage or a home? For so many of us, it can feel like a cage, a trap of isolation and just sadness. But what if we could learn to see it as a home, a place of real comfort, of growth, of self discovery? That's the journey we're going to explore today.
Okay, so let's start by really looking at that cage of loneliness. To figure out how to break free, we first got to understand what those bars are actually made of. Now, the book makes this super important distinction right away. Loneliness, it isn't just about being physically by yourself. Nope. It's that internal negative feeling, that kind of gnawing sense of emptiness. And so often, it comes from a need for what's called external validation. Basically, that constant search for other people to tell us we're okay. And this quote just perfectly captures the real cost. When we're running away from loneliness, we often end up running away from ourselves. We start to change who we are, we hide what we really think, all just to try and get people to accept us. And the real tragedy in all that is we lose the one person we're with for our entire lives, ourselves. So, where does this really intense fear of being alone even come from? I mean, is it something we're just born with? Well, the book argues that actually it's a story we've all been told. Just think about it for a second. In movies, on TV, the loner is almost always this character who needs to be fixed or saved by a big group of friends, right? This conditioning, it starts really early. On the playground, being alone is seen as a problem. And as we get older, society kind of tells us that being alone is a sign of failure, that something must be wrong with you. All of this creates this constant, subtle pressure to be social, even when it feels totally draining or just not like you. All right, now we get to the most important concept in the whole book, the idea that really unlocks everything. It's the critical difference between two words we use all the time but often get mixed up: loneliness and solitude. This right here, this reframes everything. Let's break it down. Loneliness over on the left, that's involuntary. It feels like something that just happens to you. It's negative, it's draining, and it leaves you searching for someone else to make you feel okay. That's the cage. But solitude? Solitude is chosen. It's a deliberate choice. It's positive and enriching because you're not looking outside for validation. You're actually building a connection with yourself. It feels like a home. So the big takeaway here is that moving from the left column to the right isn't about finding more people. It's about making a conscious choice to be with yourself. You see, solitude isn't about being lonely. It's about being with yourself. The book even calls it a sanctuary, a safe place where you can drop all the masks, listen to your own thoughts, and really connect with who you truly are, without any external pressure or judgment. Okay, that sounds great, right? But now that we get the difference, how do we, actually make that shift? How do we stop feeling lonely and start embracing solitude? Well, the book lays out a really clear path to get there. It all starts with a simple but really profound mindset shift. You've got to start seeing your alone time as a gift, an opportunity for growth. Then you actively use that time to develop your passions. This is all about deliberate self-improvement. And finally, you cultivate mindfulness just to get comfortable and really present in your own company. And hey, developing your passions doesn't mean you suddenly have to become a master painter or a world-class musician. The key is just to be intentional. You can start small. Maybe it's just 20 minutes a day, reading a book, or trying an online course. The goal here isn't perfection, it's engagement. It's about turning that passive, empty time into active, fulfilling time. This is how you start to build the furniture for your new home. And when you follow this path, when you really commit to it, you arrive at the destination. You've actually done it. You've transformed that cage into a home, a place of strength, creativity, and true self-acceptance. And the results are just so powerful. When you embrace solitude, you build this incredible emotional resilience because you're no longer depending on other people for your happiness. It sparks creativity because you're giving your mind the space it needs to just wander and create. And maybe most importantly, it leads to this deep sense of self-acceptance.
And that's really the ultimate goal here. We talk all the time about financial independence, but the book argues that true freedom, that's emotional independence. It's the ability to find happiness, validation, and your sense of worth from within. And you know what? This makes your relationships with other people healthier too, because they become based on choice, not on need.
So, in a world that is constantly pushing us to connect with everybody else, I'll just leave you with this question. What might you discover when you finally stop running and decide to spend some real quality time at home with yourself?